what can you tell about it, though, just by looking?
How did the scientists know that those dinosaur names were that?
What do you think? Did those?
They just named them. They didn't have names. They just named them that.
Okay.
Even the youngest children bring prior knowledge into the classroom. By making that knowledge explicit, teachers assist students in the construction of new knowledge.
What do you think, Mario?
I think, like when they looked at those, they made like fly names and plant eaters. And
who do you think gave them those names?
Like God or people.
Okay, what kind of people?
Like paleontologists.
I'm going to ask you a very important question right now. Is it possible for humans to live on the moon?
We need air and we need
food.
Yeah, food.
Transportation.
Transportation, you need a way to communicate. You've come up with some really good ideas. What I want to do is organize this into an idea web. Some of those ideas that you came up with, let's hear them one at a time. Crystal, give me your first idea.
Well, you need food and water. I mean, basically just all these supplies.
Actually, we should have somebody, like, design the colony type thing.
Yeah.
Like, what they're gonna live in.
Wouldn't we need shelter for the animals? What about a meeting house? We can also use solar power.
Solar power. What a neat idea.
As the way students acquire and use information changes, so does the role of the teacher. The center of focus moves from the teacher to students in their quest for learning. The teacher becomes an instructional designer, group facilitator, and co-learner.
Wouldn't we need like some rovers, maybe to even explore the moon itself?
We have on the wall old technology here, this moon rover.
Don't you have another picture of how fast it's going or something, like a little article of it?
Well, we might be able to find some things on the internet. We might be able to find some things about the history. So this is actually going to be a pretty important job. Transportation.
Kids at this age are like little sponges. They absorb everything you give them. They don't have computers at home. Some of them can't afford it. And here in the classroom, it's like they come in and, Miss, can I use the computer? Miss, can I use the CDI player? They want it.
And they know exactly what to do with all this technology. It's a lot of fun. We don't keep it from them. They're free to explore. They're free to get as much info as they can.
I get to learn more. We like doing this because it gives us more information about the person who we are studying.
And I'm not the main role model. I'm not the main person teaching. They're learning from each other. They're learning from technology. So that they get a lot more out of education than when I was going to school.
Today's technologies facilitate peer mentoring. Students can easily review each other's work and suggest improvements.
You need a capital letter.
The activities on the computer have activities where they work together. They also have activities where they work alone. Then they go back and they edit together. They go through, they pick out capital letters, punctuation, misspelled words.
You need a period.
A period? Yeah. I have seen stories come out of these children that could have never been produced by a hand, paper, pencil task. They're working too hard at making letters. It's been wonderful in my classroom.
I have a lot of children who have trouble writing and actually doing the handwriting. They have a lot of good thoughts in their head, and the computers help them to get the thoughts down on paper. Last year I wrote a grant proposal to get some more sophisticated computers. One of them we have in a third grade classroom for a little girl who has problems, fine motor problems. She is very smart, has a lot of things to say, and this computer enables her to keep up with her classroom.
We're writing a story about a book that we're reading.
The computer was brought into the room about 6 weeks ago. This is a brand new computer. Casey uses it for any writing assignments that are extensive, more than 1 or 2 words at a time. This enables her to produce more work in a shorter time, and it also enables her to interact with the other children on the computer.
It's fun.
This enables her to participate with the group and actually have her hard copy of her work in front of her, rather than having to have a copy of someone else's work.
It's easy.
It's a wonderful tool.
Dear Matthias, I'm 12 years old. I live in Zuni. I like running too. I run every morning. There are 5 of us in my family. My little sister's name is Summer. We call her Summer because she was born in the summer.
The power of telecommunications is that it can reach into isolated areas, be they tribal nations or inner-city schools, and overcome distance, cultural, and economic barriers, allowing students the opportunity to connect with other worlds, other experiences, and at the same time to share their own.
I wrote a letter to Porto Negro in Argentina. I like going to see our traditional Zuni dances. We have a sacred mountain in Zuni called Loyalty. That means Corn Mountain in our legends.
No longer do barriers such as location or even time prevent students from communicating and building on each other's experiences, no matter the distance, and new opportunities for constructing knowledge unfold.
Charlie is our reading teacher. He is very nice. He's the one who showed us your letters, and so that's why we're writing.
We're still at a beginner stage, but we have kids at all grade levels right now at Oshawi, talking with kids, writing with kids all over the world, and it's been a wonderful experience for us.
I'm sending my letter to Argentina.
We got to talk to these people that live all the way across the world. We got to understand that they do the same things we do. They go to high school just like we do. They have to learn other languages. They had to speak in English to us all the time, which was hard for them.
It gives them a better understanding of their global world, and it makes the world smaller in that they realize these kids from Japan and Israel and all their connections are just like them.
And you start to, catch on to their feelings and learn their way of life, and you understand them better.
Stop stereotypes, prejudice, discrimination, and that's where you have to start as students, so as they grow up, they don't see it as us and them.
Our kids have picked up so much enthusiasm now about the world, and we have a globe over here, and the kids are just constantly on the computer with the globe next to it and studying where the kids are, and then we pull out books from the library, so we're learning about the communities and the home countries of the kids that we're corresponding with. Our kids are much more enthused now than ever before about the world outside of Zuni and outside of New Mexico.
We worked very closely together as a team of teachers on the road trip project. We had all 4 disciplines, math, English, science, and social studies.
We were going to do an imaginary road trip, and it was just like going on a real trip. We had to balance out our money. We started in Austin, Texas, and went to Oklahoma, all the way to Missouri. And on the way, we spent the night in St. Louis, and got up the next day and went through Illinois and Indiana until we got to Detroit.
The math, Ms. Barker taught us how to do our budget on the computer and show us how much money we had. It was hard on the budget and stuff to figure out the mileage between places. We looked it up on the internet.
One of the biggest things that our kids have problems with is problem-solving skills, not thinking enough when they're doing these math problems. I think this was a big place for them to work on some of their skills.
One of the important skills the students worked on in this project was how to do research in the real world. When you're really doing research, it doesn't just mean that you go to the library and find all the answers in the book. Most of them mapped out their trip using the internet. They also had to interview somebody. They had to write a letter either to the Chamber of Commerce or some sort of Department of Tourism. They wrote a dialogue where they imagined meeting someone along the way.
You had to really think hard about what you would really do and write it down.
It was amazing to us that we had kids here after school every day, even on Friday, 5:30.
I think there's always a tendency for, as teachers to want to, lead them through it all. But I think you just have to come to a point where you just kind of step back, because they'll take over.
So our first network projects were basically electronic mail messaging, starting off at the pen pal kind of interchanges between classrooms. But we quickly learned that the power of using networking and a connection across the world in classrooms is you have to have a focus on some learning topic, some curriculum idea. Our longest project has been a weather exchange, and we have 14 schools right now worldwide for the 4th year exchanging weather information. And we found that transferring files was a very powerful way to integrate math, science, literature, reading, writing in computer technology across your curriculum. From a classroom teacher's point of view, this international exchange of weather has provided an ongoing opportunity throughout the year to focus on math concepts such as charting, reading a newspaper weather report, making line graphs of high and low temperatures for the week at different sites around the world. It's provided opportunities for social studies and geography in terms of locating different sites around the world.
As an earth science teacher, I find some of the sources on the internet are invaluable because the biggest asset is that it gives me actual data that I can use in my earth science classroom. For example, when studying a unit on weather, I can call up the most recent data for Louisiana, and we can study the information about weather pertinent to us. And so my students can be looking at relative humidity, temperature, air pressure, all for Lafayette, all from NOAA almost instantly.
The students are working on a project that involves the use of the Mesonet. In the state of Oklahoma, there is a system implemented by the Oklahoma Climatological Survey. It consists of 111 data collection sites distributed evenly throughout the state of Oklahoma.
These are the lines that indicate which way the wind is blowing, and these are the flags that has one line or two lines. If it's one line, it means that the wind is not blowing as hard.
One advantage of the Mesonet is that students are able to become scientists themselves. They're able to get scientific data just as fast as the scientists themselves do. There's a pyranometer, an instrument that measures the amount of solar radiation detected. So we're able to identify anywhere in the state of Oklahoma where it's partly cloudy, clear, completely overcast.
What are these blue dots?
They indicate where it has rained.
The front's moving from
the northwest.
We'll be able to measure up to a point the conditions within a tornado.
We love science!
And then start with step one and see if you can get the gist of how patents are organized. The students in this room are research and development students, and one of their challenges was in their research to ask a question that we can't readily find the answer to, and then propose a solution.
I am in the process of developing a universal air filter. Basically, it's for the use of people that have asthma or suffer from any allergy. I tried to find statistics on how many people in the world and in our nation, and then in our state, and then in our area of the valley, and I did all through the internet. It's real hard to find something as current because the internet is, in most cases, it's updated daily. So it would have been a lot harder for me to find as much information as I needed. The problem that I'm dealing with is a problem of today. There's an increase in death rate. There's such an increase in everything that my research is involved in that the internet can help me a lot with.
Advanced technologies such as the computer create an environment where collaboration on a variety of levels is fostered. Students naturally congregate around a resource that provides connection to vast pools of information, meaningful information with which students can construct knowledge.
Right now we're using the bulletin board system on TechNet to communicate back and forth. There's this guy on there that has a similar project to what we're working on, and we're using the bulletin board and email.
This shows everybody who's on the computer right now, and then if you wanted to, like maybe you knew them or they could help you in a project, you could start chatting with them and perhaps they could help you out with the project.
He's working on the same thing of damming on the rivers. That's what we're doing. We're working on how it affects the cottonwood trees and how actually they're dying off in the bosque in that area, and we're just trying to get some more information and like how other people can approach the same problem we have. It's a pretty large group that actually reads it. You usually get a good response.
I think a lot of people want to help each other with this because it is a hard project, and if we had information, I'm sure they'd want it too.
I think the kind of learning that takes place in a class like this and with a project like this is more like the kind of work that people do outside of the classroom on a real project. We have students that are able to use the tools that scientists actually use. They're learning the process, they're using equipment, and I feel it's a really worthwhile opportunity for them.
Resources such as those found on the internet allow for a collaborative discovery process with minds focused, working together to solve problems in the classroom across the globe.
The question is, how are we going to set this up? So the computer knows we have 2 protons. I mean, we're kind of stuck.
They're working in groups, they have to collaborate with each other. They have to be independent enough to go out and get information. They have to interact with the scientists, with their teacher.
Miss Avery, can you come here a minute? Another question. We're trying to define these values in the main. I mean, not the float, but the part before that.
What do you want to do? Is it going to stay constant? Can you do a simple assignment? Do you need your user to have some interaction? Do you want it to come from a keyboard?
It's probably going to change. I mean, we want to assign it a value, but if we run the program again, then it might need a different value.
Then I would recommend using the scan function and let your user input it. I think it's a more realistic situation than a traditional classroom kind of approach.
I need help, guys.
What if we what if we set up an array for the actual values of everything and had the program scan in with our data?
That just might work.
The students that are most successful are students that pick their own topics and are really interested in it. Something about it really catches their attention, their creativity, their particular interest in a branch of science.
So all we have to do is really plug this in the computer and just
but
put some numbers in it.
Yeah.
If we can figure out what all the numbers are supposed to be.
We can ask Professor Huxley about it. And if they can find a mentor in the scientific field that can help them, that also is a big encouragement. If they get to a point where they're stuck, they can get help from working scientists, and that seems to help carry them through on their projects.
That can range anywhere from an Ask a Scientist email to the electronic emissary project, where the kids can have basically a very close relationship via email with that subject area expert and be able to ask questions they wouldn't ordinarily ask of anyone. That close relationship empowers the students to feel like they're really scientists. They're really learning right along with that professional.
What about meat? Maybe we can bring meat up to the moon. Well, there is a lot of water. Maybe we can bring an aquarium up there for some fish. We could get water from where we got the hydroponics water and, put fish or seafood in an aquarium. Why don't we ask Dr. Bob?
He's only a well expert. I don't think we want to bring a well to the moon.
He's also a marine biologist. He knows a lot about other fish, too. Let's say that.
We better ask Mr. Stryker first.
Mr. Stryker,
Yes.
can we email Dr. Bob?
Yeah.
Mentoring programs encourage students to take an active role in the pursuit of knowledge. They take things they are interested in, that they already know, and build with that knowledge to learn more, with the help of experts in the real world.
If fish can survive on the moon, that is something that we can research too. Well, let's email him. It's the real-time exchange between another human that adds to the excitement of learning. Email has made it not only possible, but actually makes it happen. Hey guys, what's going on?
Mr. Stryker, I want to see if we have new email, but I just don't know how to download it.
Okay, how to download. Do either of y'all know how to do it?
I do.
You do, Ann? Okay. Would you show him, please?
Go to File, Check Mail, and then you scroll down. It's highlighted. There it is.
More often than not, a student can communicate better to another student their understanding. So I'm always asking students, is there anybody that can help me help this student understand, especially in terms of technology?
Double click. Yeah. Okay. Oh, look, it's from Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob.
Cool.
Nicole, what does it say?
Lately, I've been working on a study.
We have kids all across this country who are not only using technology in their subject matter areas, but they themselves have become a real resource for their school, for their classmates, for their teachers.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
They are even, in some cases, wiring the classrooms, and they are technical troubleshooters.
I do everything from getting up in the ceiling, popping tiles, and running cabling down to different computers in the classrooms.
With the implementation of new technologies, new opportunities arise for teaching, for learning, and school becomes a place where traditional concepts of ownership and responsibilities are challenged.
what this class is about is to design the network, develop the procedure for putting in the network, actually install the network from start to finish, and then maintain and troubleshoot the network as the network ages and grows and changes, and we add on and we expand.
I'm learning something that I've never learned before. It's a technology that's going to be advancing as I grow up, as my children grow up, and as their children grows up. This is the world.
Our district network is a student network. It's run by students, it's installed by students, it's managed by students, it is the students. So I think that is something I never even envisioned happening, but because it's theirs, they've installed it, it has become theirs. And therefore being theirs, they're going to protect it and take care of it and nurture it and grow it.
It's the experience of a lifetime. Sure, there's lots of book work and you can memorize it and everything, but how are you going to learn when you can't actually see it and do it and put it together and make it work?
Creative Publications, it's taking your computer skills that you're learning for your future, and it's combining with art to show you who you are.
It also helped me realize that there is a side of art that I can do, because I couldn't paint, I couldn't draw freehand or nothing, but the computer really helped me realize that I could do art.
When learning is authentic, students become engaged discoverers, and teachers are the key to facilitating an environment where such learning can take place.
When we started this course, there was no other course that we could find that integrated these two disciplines. And it seemed such a natural because we have the technology.
We also integrated not just desktop publishing technical skills, but we integrated marketing skills as well. The students will interview the client, produce the work, and then present it to the clients.
It was scary at first because we would tell these people, you're going to get quality work. It may be from different people in the class, but out of 20, there would be 5 or 6 that I felt for any given client were really strong. Looked good.
I had some pamphlets that had these pictures on it, and they were like in black and white, and I put them into the scanner and scanned it, and then I went into Photoshop and manipulated it and colored the leaves so that they'd stand out more and gave it a black background so that it would be highlighted and be really visible. I'm doing mine on gambling, and I'm coming up with a visual image of the word gambling and signs, and I have 2 columns set up similar to a magazine article on gambling, the nature of it.
Kids can function on a professional level, just give them the professional tools, a little bit of guidance.
This computer here is for me to document what I'm writing, my composition. It's to write down all of the notes so I can print it out on the printer, give it to somebody to read. I've got strings, French horns, trombones, and tubas.
They're going to be in a world where they're having to manipulate images in order to create messages and get their point across, whatever their academics are. And the computer can help facilitate that. Even if they're not an art student, they can, make a professional presentation.
Yeah, we're making a stack. A stack is a hypercard document that you can do different things on. It's kind of like a project builder kind of program. And it's going to be part of all the other stacks. A lot of other groups are making stacks.
Yeah, because we have 6 groups.
In presentation tools, in terms of technology, more and more students are becoming more adept at presenting their ideas and their research through software that allows them to add pictures and voiceovers and even little films. There's a lot of information there. There's a lot that can be done. The kids at 5th grade have an intrinsic desire to learn and to search and to find out. Generally, kids are going to be more curious, more innovative, more fearless as they poke through whatever the software can do.
Everybody stay calm. Me and my power failure. Please stay calm. Thank you.
One of the things that I do see in educational technology is a way to bring about across the curriculum a systemic change to allow students to take charge of their own learning and to utilize the technology across the curriculum to bring about positive changes.
What we really are looking for is how students can take knowledge and really be able to apply it as it will affect them in the world that they're about to enter. We look at a lot of activity with an essential question, where many of our students at the high school are examining in a course called Paradigm the look at change in Northwest Arkansas. And from this, they will integrate many of the disciplines.
Basically, what we did was we tried to divide each of the groups up with representatives from each of the 4 classes who, with their expertise within that class, were able to put together a project about a certain topic.
The information that I gained is information that nobody else has, and it's hands-on information.
The water quality people did some surveys around town about the water quality in Siloam Springs, which has been a concern in the town. They looked into the different ways that the community was looking into different water sources, and were able to give a final solution which was accepted by the city.
The thing I learned probably most was responsibility, just an incredible amount of responsibility. We were working with a group, but it's your own thing. You have to learn to think for yourself.
One of the key features is that we are all networked, that we can communicate from one classroom to another. I don't know how we could have done it without being networked.
People from the community, our parents, people that we had talked with, the teachers, faculty, other students came in, just came in to watch us. And that was so nice to be able to get up and present what you had learned.
Basically, we work with the food and the water and the equipment, and we're thinking about growing food on the moon. Plants need a lot of things, like the soil nutrients, the lights, and controlled temperatures. We were trying to find a way which we could do that. We're thinking that there's water on the bottom of the moon, so, awesome.
Do you mean like under the top layer of the soil, like water, ice?
Yeah, it's like sort of like dust, but not exactly. What, Wayne?
How would you grow the food on the moon with that kind of soil?
We weren't going to use the dirt there. The way we thought that we could grow food in space is that we could use hydroponics. And hydroponics is the growing of plants in a solution instead of soil. We were thinking that we could use LED lights. It can control the temperatures and how much light a plant gets every single day.
Crystal, mine was can plants grow in moon soil, and I looked it up in the encyclopedia, and it said that if you sprinkle moon dust on the soil, they'll grow better or something like that.
Crystal, what is the special substance of the moon dust that helps it grow?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Anne-Marie knows.
You know how rocks have minerals in them? Basically, moon dust is just rocks, crumbled rocks into small grains of sand.
Research and development, they can, take that as an experiment out there, and we could see if that would work with with a lot of plants.
With the wealth of technologies available today, the roles of teachers and students are shifting, and the environment of the classroom is changing in substantial ways. Teachers become coaches, designers.
What are you trying to say, Sean? When?
They provide tools to all their students and the skills to use those tools.
I'm sending my letter.
Available technologies can help teachers provide opportunities for students to expand their circles of interaction in the classroom, in their communities, throughout the world. Students and teachers together discover and construct knowledge, solving authentic problems that relate to their own experiences, their own dreams, and to those of their peers.
What do you think? Did those...
From the laser disc player to the internet, technology can help teachers and students access relevant materials, real data, and expertise from a vast store of timely resources. With such expanded options, students and teachers collaborate in a learning process that weaves together curriculum elements into a tapestry of meaning.
Shane.
As students become partners in the process of teaching and learning, and as they discover new knowledge and create new solutions, they are able to share their unique expertise with their school, their community, and at the same time become an important part of that world. And when it's time for the students to move on, they are ready.
We're kind of sheltered here, and I'm realizing that as I go off to college, but these classes, as strange as it may seem, have opened me up to a world that I could never have imagined was out there, and has prepared me better for going off to a college where I have to stand up for my own, and I have to know why I believe what I believe, and know that those beliefs are mine.